Today I'm in a field to meet a fellow ex-service member. Yep, dogs are soldiers too, and dogs do a very important job looking after the blokes on operations. And like a lot of us, they have difficulties transitioning to civilian life too. I thought you'd find it interesting if we spoke to some of the handlers, met some of the dogs, let me show you some of the incredible work and how incredible these animals are, and why I'm honoured to be supporting a charity like Paws and the great work they do finding homes for retired dogs.
I'm Hayley. I'm a dog handler, mostly general purpose. I've got 8 dogs of my own. I do drug detection, training to do explosive detection. So we've got a lot of dogs.
I'm Sam. I'm a trustee for Paws. I actually joined the army to become a medic. And then back then when I was, 18, I did public services at college, and I said to my tutor, I want to be a paramedic, but I don't really want to go to uni. He was like, well, join the army then. So I was like, okay, I had a look. And you have to put 3 choices down. Second choice was dog handler. And then I think the recruiting sergeant was just like, if you want to get in quicker, go dog handler. So I did and never looked back.
I did 7 years in the army. While I was in, I did 2 tours of Afghanistan and 1 of Iraq, amongst many training exercises everywhere else. Coming back from operations and coming back out of service is kind of different, and I don't know if you ever actually do go back to fully being normal again. And there's certain things, there's probably some similarities between myself and the dogs. Loud noises, certain scenarios and circumstances that you find yourself in where you get a little bit of a heart rate increase. I don't know if you ever actually do go back to fully being normal ever again, to be honest.
A bit like us, really. The basics are like your obedience and agility, and then it very much depends on what specification that dog is. All specifications are different, but the obedience and agility will pretty much be the same.
They start really young, mostly environmental stuff. So they'll have them out and about, they'll take them to different places. I believe they do start around about the 8-9 month probably, with regards to especially the obedience side of things. You can start from the 8 weeks old with the obedience, just repetitions constantly up until the probably 2-year-old. For your protection roles, you should have a Malinois, German Shepherd, Doberman, Rottweiler, Dutch Shepherd. There are other breeds that aren't listed. The Giant Schnauzer, that seems to be becoming popular as well. And then when you go onto the detection side of things, anything with floppy ears basically, gun breeds. They make the assumption it's down to public perception, i.e. if you've got one of these guys coming towards you, whether it's bike trained or not, they would be quite put off by that. So that's why they say stick to your Spaniels, your Labradors, they're a bit less important.
So you've got the Belgian Shepherds or Malleys and the German Shepherds. They do your high assurance search dogs and your sort of protection and police roles. And then your Labs and Spaniels, they do more of the active searching, vehicles, compounds, all that.
There was always dogs around. They were vital parts of the team, whether that was protecting the camps that he was on or the ones that were going out on patrols. They're protecting the compounds of an evening. They're up on the roof. They're an early warning system. I know of some patrols that would go out and spend the night in a cornfield with a dog. And the dog was the only sort of early warning system that they had for anything that was coming down the pipe at them, or anything that was tracking them or following them. The dogs are amazing. But there was also drug dogs and bomb dogs and these little Charles Spaniels, something that your nana should have. This cute little dog with long ears, cutting about the gaff. They weigh nothing. They're tiny, cute little dogs. Out there on patrol, getting stuck in the mix, finding IEDs, doing incredible work, and I know some of those dogs were killed doing their duty as well.
So you've got the special forces dogs as well. So you've got Kuno at the moment, who's got 2 prosthetic carbon fibre legs.
Wow.
He was serving with the SBS in Afghan, and with an incident that took place in Kabul, in a derelict high-rise block of flats. So there was the British SBS, the Australian SAS, I think the New Zealanders, and there was some Afghan special forces. Kuno was actually hoisted up, not up 6 floors, but was hoisted to 1 floor did his work, hoisted to the next floor, did his work, hoisted to the next floor, and the insurgents were moving from one floor to the next, and obviously they cornered him in the 6th floor, and then Kuno was injured by gunfire and grenades as well, injured in his chest, front leg, and obviously his rear legs as well.
You see a range of dogs that are guarding the camps, from big Rottweiler things to the big German Shepherds, and it always struck me, the German Shepherds or the Mals like we've got here, they seem to have this intensity and alertness about them. They look to me like they love being on duty. They've got this sort of, like, you can put an ops vest on them and they just look like they're at work. They were always there. You'd always try and sneak a stroke of one because it's a little bit of a home comfort, isn't it? And then get told off because the dogs have rank. You wouldn't stroke your sergeant, would you?
Again, there's a lot of dogs that are quite happy, they just adapt. I think most of the issues come from the kenneling side of things rather than the training side of things.
A lot of the dogs get stressed in kennels. That's very dog dependent rather than breed dependent. And they can start to sort of chew themselves. They start pooing and weeing in kennels and barking and sometimes redirecting their sort of pent up emotions onto people as well.
We were training one dog that was, the dog wasn't the problem. It was the home and the handler, or the new handler was the problem. It'd become quite, these dogs do become quite protective of their new owners because that's what their default is too. They'll protect the area, they'll protect the handler or their new owner, and the handler, the owner, had identified this problem, so we'd gone down to do some work through Hero Paws with the dog, and as Hayley was putting the muzzle onto the dog leapt up and bit her, let's say, on the chest, on the left side of the chest, which was apparently quite painful.
I adopted Lucy around 6 or 7 months ago now, directly from the Royal Veterinary Regiment up near Peterborough. It's been a good 6-7 months now. I think one thing about her, and one thing that was in her kind of dog pet profile from the army, was that she's supremely confident. So I haven't had any issues with her being afraid of things. She perks up and tends to get excited when she hears bangs. I think that's perhaps she's associating that with when she's been on exercise or something exciting is happening and, it's time for work.
One of the things that you get in service is the routine. And even though that routine can be unpredictable and the job requires you to be flexible and sometimes work 24 hours straight through and sometimes there's not a lot to do. I think it's the routine and the structure and almost knowing that, today we're doing this or tomorrow we're going to be doing that. And I think once you no longer have that structure, you sort of almost lose that purpose as well. I think that's when the transition from being military to civilian becomes difficult. And it's probably very similar for the dogs. Like, these dogs are hyper intelligent, and I think that a lot of them treat it like they're on the clock, whether they know that or not. And I think that's probably where these dogs fall down and why they need very special people to come and look after them, whether that is through Hero Paws as an organisation or whether it's through people volunteering to adopt these dogs afterwards. There's got to be a special sort of person that knows what they're getting into with these dogs.
I think that's the big issue around leaving the services, is a lot of guys mourn their identity of what they were. They still mourn that identity, and with us, with the dogs and working with the dogs, it gets you over that mourning stage, that mourning the past of you're not who you used to be. And these can make you be somebody else. I've had mental health issues. I was in combat stress for a period of time. Got introduced. Always liked dogs. Got introduced to dogs. There was a dog handler with me at the time. And to be honest, it's probably saved me a few times from down.
It's that
places.
distraction, isn't it? It's like you focus on something else rather than going down the spiral.
Yeah. And again, it's that looking after somebody. It's that being responsible for somebody. I think as ex-military men and women, that need to be somebody. And you know, even though you don't feel like putting the time into yourself some days, it's easier to put that time into the dog rather than yourself, and just to be out and exercising them. And
well, they're always going to give you something back, aren't they?
Always, and they don't charge for it. It's all free, you know. They like, you know, they keep you active. They keep you, you know, they keep us in a job, and you know, we owe them far more than they owe us, really.
Hero Paws is a charity that there's 4 of us that have set up to help rehome, rehabilitate and retrain ex-service dogs, whether they've come from a home and previously been rehomed, or whether they are being rehomed from a service. We found that a lot of dogs they don't get the support that they need when they're out in the army, and there's also those that kind of need special homes when being rehomed from the army as well. And the services themselves don't really offer that support when they've been rehomed. So that's kind of where we come in. So we aim to actually set up a sanctuary. At the moment, we do it all remotely. And so our ideal is to set up a charity where it's not a kennel block, it's like sort of home environment. And so we can start getting them used to the home environment before they go to a home. And they can have that time as long as they need to get the training and to be rehabilitated for civilian life. I have no idea how many dogs we've helped. Yeah, a lot. Whether that's rehoming them or just sort of helping out with vet bills, training. Yeah, it's countless now. I don't even know the figures. But it's a lot though. How we can help raise awareness, I think, is the biggest thing. Hero Paws are after volunteers, as well as sort of potential dog owners as well. We are sort of trying to branch out, but it's hard because it's almost a full-time job when it comes to volunteering for our charity at the moment. So we don't want, you know, the odd hour here or there. We'll get what we can, but we need people that are committed and are willing to help out. But we also need like the niche people, because we are still quite new in things. We need those niche people that can actually bring something to the table. So our rehoming process is, we have a dog, we find out what that dog sort of needs and wants, and then going to the person, they need to fill out an application form. From there, we have a quick scan through. If it's suitable, we continue. If it's not, we just keep it in our folder. We need 2 references now from our applications, and we also do sort of a home search, sort of Google search and background search on social media and stuff, and then a home check as well. At the moment, that is just via photographs of your home, but if needs be, we can pop round as well.
Yeah, the good thing about the military handlers or civilians, police or whatever, you know, all the dogs that Hero Paws deals with, the handlers really are the ones that will, you know, do everything they can to keep hold of the dog. These guys are obviously in positions where the handlers have either not able to, not capable of, or just are not around anymore, sort of thing. So, you know,
that is quite a common thing that I had heard of. Like, you know, when the dogs retire, they do try and keep them.
They'll do everything they can. The handlers will do everything they can to sort of to keep hold of their own dog, sort of thing. But they're great for so what we're trying to push as well with them is like the veterans. So veteran lads, gives them a purpose. You know, these dogs, some of these dogs, these Mallies, the Malinois, they need exercise. And so do we. I mean, as you know as well as I do, as veterans, you know, sitting around and doing nothing can be could be a cycle of the inactivity leads to inactivity, and then you can go into a dark place.
Yeah, getting out and getting the fresh air on its own.
Yeah.
But the added purpose of that's a great tactic, I think. Rather than saying, "Listen, you're broken. Why don't we get you outside?" Going, "Can you help me with this dog?"
Yeah.
Because we all have got that sort of desire to help and to serve in us, obviously.
Yeah, protection and to look after. You can get up in all different, mental scenarios and characteristics for that day. But there's only one person in that group that doesn't judge you for it, and that'll be your dog.
We could be very selective with our dogs because, that we want the right home straight away, and we appreciate that doesn't always work, but we need suitable people as well as suitable homes. As a charity, we can get government grants and all that, but a lot of, or most of our fundraising or money income will be from people fundraising for us.
I would definitely recommend contacting Hero Paws, because they've all got a service background, and they also have worked with these dogs and are professionally and personally interested in these dogs and what they do, and have done for their whole lives. So they're speaking from real, a place of real authority and experience. I would definitely recommend speaking to Hero Paws if anyone was considering, it's not rescuing, but homing a dog, and being the dog's sort of lifetime home, because they really do have a vested interest, and it comes through with all the passion that they speak about. Each individual animal, they seem to know them really well.
I've really enjoyed meeting some of these animals, meeting some of the people involved, hearing their stories, and just seeing how cool these dogs are. They can help us as much as we can help them. And organisations like Hero Paws need our help. And even if you can't give anything, then go give their website a visit and do a bit of reading on them. Give them a follow on social media, because you never know when an animal comes up that needs a homing, and you can help share that profile. You might help a dog get homed, whether you have to raise any money for it or anything. It can be as simple as just sharing it because there's someone follows you that might be able to help. They are looking at doing some fundraising, and they do have a target in mind to build the sanctuary that these animals need. That sanctuary sounds amazing up in Scotland. What a beautiful part of the world to go and live out your retirement it could be for some of these animals. If you can donate, check the link in the description. Give as much as you can. Trust me, this will go to a great place. There's no bureaucracy involved here. You're gonna directly help these animals. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.